What's up, everybody? So in this video I'm gonna do the tear down on this Nissan SER spec V engine. I'm gonna go ahead and separate the transmission. I've ordered all new timing components, new oil pump, new water pump. I already have the new head gasket set and new head bolts, and the head's been rebuilt. So I'm gonna go ahead and start disassembly, and I hope you enjoy what you want. Alright guys, so I just took this thing off, and the flywheel looks pretty decent, or I mean the clutch disc looks pretty decent. The this doesn't look horrible. It looks like it's rust more than anything. Same with that side. But I was getting ready to pull the flywheel, and it's missing a freaking bolt. So, I mean, I don't know what's been done to this thing now that I know that it's missing a damn flywheel bolt. So I guess we'll find out. Alright guys, so this has been a real absolute pain in the ass. I really am not a fan of these bolts that they use for the flywheel. It's the same style bolts that are used for the heads on an Audi. It's a special kind of wrench. I've got the correct wrench, and when I went to turn them out, you can see it's actually rounding out the heads in there, and it has actually rounded the head out in that one and that one. I just got done drilling that one out, so I'm going to drill this one out so that I can get the stupid flywheel off, and then I got to replace all 6 of the flywheel bolts. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so I was able to get both of the bolts drilled out, or the heads drilled off of them. So now I got to pry the flywheel off of here and hope that I can get the rest of the bolts to come out. Yeah, there's plenty of thread left, and now they screw right out. Go figure. Alright, so there's one, and there's the other one. So both of them come out, no problem. So, and like I showed earlier in the video, I was missing one bolt anyway, so I needed to replace them anyway. But I'm gonna go put this up front with the clutch so that it doesn't get ruined sitting out here in the weather. I don't know. It's a dual mass, but I don't know if it's even still good. All right, now that I was able to get the flywheel off, I need to see what length bolts I need to bolt the engine stand onto here, and then I'll get it mounted on the engine stand. All right guys, so I got the motor out, got it up here on the porch. I'm gonna start tearing the motor apart so that I can do my inspection and clean it. I really don't know what I'm gonna find in here because, like I said, the other guy was trying to do this shit, and I don't think he knew what he was doing. I'm wondering if there's bolts coming in from the bottom. I wouldn't. There may be. Might need to pull this oil pan off. Hell, he's only got one freaking bolt in the oil pan. That's nice. So let's see what's in this oil pan. He may have 2 bolts in it. There's one of the bolts. Yeah, he's got 2 bolts in it. And that one's tight. The other one wasn't tight. Let me get a wrench. All right, let's see here. Not horrible. I've seen worse. And yes, there are bolts going in, and he's already removed them. They're all sitting in here loose. So I am very glad that I pulled this motor apart, because like I said, I did not know what this guy had done to this thing. All right, so now this should come off. Yes. All right, I should be able to pry this thing off. I don't want to damage it, but I do want it off of here. So all right, there's got to be something in the center holding it. Okay, is there another bolt that I'm missing or something? Oh yeah, I gotta take the freaking oil pickup off. Oops. So, take the oil pickup off. Alright. That's about all I can do until I get parts. Alright guys, so all of my parts for the Nissan to rebuild the engine on the Nissan are supposed to be here today. The only parts that I will not have are the bolts for the flywheel. I'm going to see if I can buy them at Summit. I don't know if I can or not. If not, then I'll have to order some, and I'll have to wait to put the transmission back together with the engine and put it in the car. But I'm hoping to show what needed to be done to put this motor back together, how to set the timing on it, how to set the head in, all that kind of stuff, bolting the intake back on, bolting the exhaust back on, basically getting it ready to put it back in the car. I'm also hoping that I'll be able to get it back in the car in this video, but I'm not gonna make any promises. It really depends on whether I can get the bolts for the flywheel or not. But I'm gonna try and give as thorough of a breakdown of regasketing, replacing all the timing components, timing chains, timing tensioner, bolting the head back on and all that kind of stuff, replacing all the upper seals, replacing all the lower seals, front main seal, rear main seal, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this will be a pretty detailed video on the 2.5 liter Nissan. I think it's a QR25DE motor. I could be wrong on that nomenclature. I'll look up the right number and edit this. All right, guys, so FedEx just dropped off my new oil pump and timing chain kit and water pump. I also already have the new head gasket set and the new timing bolts, or I mean the new head bolts. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting this stuff opened up. I'm gonna finish. I actually pressure washed this engine already once, but it didn't clean it up very well. But I didn't have any degreaser, so I'm gonna go buy some degreaser and spray it down with degreaser and pressure wash it again, because it's still pretty nasty. But I'm gonna pressure wash it again, then I'm gonna clean the tops of the pistons, clean up the top of the block. I'll wipe down the bottom of the head with some lacquer thinner. I actually have to go buy some new dowel pins because I don't know where the hell the ones that belong in this engine are, because it was torn apart before I took it, or before I got the car. So I'm gonna run down to Summit and buy some new dowel pins for here and here so that I can line the head up properly. But I'm hoping to have this entire engine completely assembled. I'll show you how all the timing marks go on here. I'll show you how the proper tightening sequence on the head bolts, final assembly of the rest of the exterior accessories, the intake manifold, upper and lower, and replacing the water pump and all that stuff. So hopefully this will be a pretty detailed video on the, what is this? This is a QR25. So it's a Nissan 2.5 liter QR25. It's out of the V-spec Nissan Sentra SER. Guys, so my buddy Logan's welding up that B5 exhaust. I'm working on this Nissan. Just got the multi-layer head gasket. Whoops. Probably shouldn't be smoking after I've just got this freaking engine clean and I'm ready to put the head on. Now I gotta wipe it down again. But anyway, got the multi-layer head gasket on there, getting ready to set the head on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the heads close to being in time. And I'm actually going to retard the timing on the crank a little bit. I'm going to drop the pistons back, just so that if I have to rotate the head, I won't hit the valves against the bottom of, or the top of the pistons. But that's what I'm getting ready to do now. So once I get the head mounted on there, then I'll show you how all the timing stuff goes. So these head bolts get torqued in a multiple sequence. The first sequence is 22 foot-pounds. Second is 59 foot-pounds. Then you break all of them loose. Then you torque them back to 25 foot-pounds, and then do an additional 90-degree turn. So that's what I'm going to do right here. All right, now we go to 59 foot-pounds. Alright, now that they're all tight, now I'm going to loosen all of them. And you loosen them in the opposite order your tightening order. Alright, now that all of them are loose, make sure that all of them are completely loose, because you're not supposed to have any pressure on them before you start. Now I'm going to run them all down until they touch. Alright, now we set the torque wrench to 25. Now we start over from the center and work our way out again. Alright, so now that I have them torqued down to the fourth step, now I got to do a 90-degree turn on each one of these bolts. So I don't have an angle torque wrench, so all I do is I line up my ratchet with the head, and then I just turn it visually 90 degrees. I can eyeball it close enough. All right. And I probably should have oiled the washers, but too late now. All right, guys, so now that I've got the head mounted onto the engine, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the cams, get the cams set close to their top dead center so that I can start doing the timing chain and the assembly for the timing chain. So this part's gonna be in time lapse until I get to the actual setting of the timing chain. All right, guys, so I have not set the entire timing system yet, but what I've done, I want to show you the timing mark. So you've got that dot and that black link. And then on the intake camshaft, you have this notch and that black link. And then down here on the crankshaft, you have a little dot. If you pull this sleeve off, you'll be able to see the little dot. So there, now you can see the little dot lined up with the black link down here. So there's the little dot, there's the black link. Now I have not replaced the balance shaft timing chain yet. I was just trying to make sure that I had the head sitting in the right spot. So now that the heads and the crank are in the right spot, I'll actually pull the timing chain back off. And I'm gonna replace this lower sprocket, this chain right here, and both of these guides, this guide and this guide. Alright guys, now that I have the lower half of the upper oil pan off, I'm going to go ahead and remove these two timing components for the balance shaft. I'm going to go ahead and pull the upper chain back off and replace this sprocket, and then replace this chain and these guides and tensioner, and then I'm going to I'll do the final timing setting on this right here. Alrighty. And here's my new gear. Make sure my marks are in the same spot. Yep. Alright. Make sure his teeth are the same. Alright. Alright. So that's back on. Now we can get the lower chain and then replacement guides for down there. So here's our new assembly for the bottom. And a new chain for the bottom. Alright guys, final timing alignments on this Nissan. So the cam phaser, the mark on the outside, goes to the black link on the chain. This mark on this pulley goes to this black link. You get down here, on the front of this pulley, you'll see that little dot right there next to my thumb. That's where the black link lines up with it. Then on the balance shaft timing chain, you have a black link that lines up with that mark. And then down here, I can't show you because if I take this off, the chain flops and it doesn't show how it lines up. But the mark and the black link are about right here. They're not straight up and down. It's a little bit off to the side, ever so slightly, when that's at true top dead center. So now that I've got all the timing set, I'm gonna pull the pins on my tensioner. So I'm gonna pull that red pin right here and pull that red pin right there and get the timing completely set. And then I will remount the front cover, get everything all buttoned up on the front, and then I'll remount the lower oil pan half and then put the lower oil pan back onto the bottom of the motor. Then I'll start mounting the rest of my accessories. I did discover during the time lapse earlier that when I bought the car, the guy didn't give me all the hardware. I am missing some of the hardware for the upper intake. So I'm gonna have to dig through my hardware and see if I've got enough to make this thing go together. But we'll see where this goes.
You know I'll always keep on coming back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you. Back to you. Back to you.
Alright guys, so as you saw in the video, I got most of the engine back together. Now I had to order some bolts from the Nissan dealership down the street, so they won't be here for another day or two. But I got 90% of the motor put together, so everything's on here that can be put on here. The AC compressor still got to go get bolted in here to get the belt tight. But I've got everything else bolted in. I'm missing all the bolts for the upper intake manifold. I'm also missing a lower power steering bolt, and I'm missing one of the bolts for the upper alternator mounting bracket. So once I get that stuff, and I had to order the flywheel bolts. So ordered that stuff. It cost me like 39 bucks at Nissan. So once I get that stuff in, I'll get the engine mated up to the transmission and get it dropped back in the car. That'll be my next video regarding the Nissan. And I'll probably knock that out this weekend. And I still need to do a tune video on my Audi, but I keep having check engine lights pop up, so I got to figure out why I keep getting random check engine lights. I don't know what the issue is with it, so I'll touch on that in the next video concerning the Audi. But I hope you enjoyed what you watched. Hope this helps out anybody that's dealing with the Nissan QR25DE engine. This is basically reassembly. So it's essentially head install, timing belt replacement. The water pump, I showed replacing the water pump in the time lapse, but it's 3 bolts and some silicone. It's really, really simple. So other than that, it was just you had to remove the lower oil pan and the lower half of the upper oil pan to get to everything. So all that had to be sealed and cleaned and all that. So but that goes through the whole process. The front panel that covers the timing is actually the oil pump, so that covers replacing the oil pump as well. And that sleeve that was on the crankshaft pulley is actually the drive mechanism for the oil pump. So do not forget to put that back onto the crank before you put the oil pump on there. If you like what you saw in this video, like always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, let your friends know what I'm doing, and hope to see you in the next video.